A little advice. A little advice. Come on, yeah. Just a little advice. Just a little advice with Christine Little. Check it out.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Little Advice Podcast, a podcast where I, comedian Christine Little, gives advice to one of my guests. Usually I say it's only a little advice because I only have a little degree, but the guest on this show, this episode, my roommate and friend, Charletta Rozzell, told me, hey, don't say that. Like, that's negative. So I'm going to take her advice and just say, I give advice. I'm doing my best. And I think there's something to learn from everyone. And I learned a lot from talking to Charletta in this episode. If you guys like that podcast, please rate, subscribe, leave a review, share the episode. Anything you can do helps. And I'd love to hear your feedback on some of the questions posed in this podcast. Thank you guys so much again for listening to A Little Advice. I am here with Charletta Rozzell. Hello, Charletta.
Hi, Christine.
I'm so happy to finally have gotten you on my podcast. You're so hard to
schedule with.
And the funny thing is, what were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say our schedules, like, they don't sync.
They don't sync.
Well, like, when I'm home, you're not home.
We live together. Spoiler alert.
By the way.
Dude, so we recorded this podcast. And I am not exaggerating. It was one of the best episodes.
It was bomb.
Epiphanies.
It was so good.
Revelations. I had to, I mean, you couldn't make this stuff up if you tried.
It was so good.
And it did not record.
We lost it.
It's never happened.
That's
never happened.
Podcast history?
I mean, not on my podcast.
Damn.
I'm sure on some actually I did a podcast, or I have a friend who did a podcast. Listen to her podcast. It's called Falling in Love with Leah Lamar. She was actually the first person on this podcast, and she had, I think, at least 2 episodes where she was recording and it did not record.
Technology.
I mean,
I don't know.
So that was rough. We just finished recording a sketch.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have fun?
I had fun, and it was nice to meet new people.
Yeah, we did with Amir Khalil. He calls himself a miracle. He's very funny. Look him up. Yeah.
What's his thingy again?
What?
What's his signature thing?
Oh, he's like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's a singer. It's very funny. So you're originally from
New York.
Where?
Queens.
Okay.
I'm from Queens, New York.
And how long have you lived out in LA?
4 months.
4 months. Was that a tough decision for you to move out here?
Initially, yeah. So, LA was not on my radar.
Really?
I wasn't. I mean, I guess all actors are like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make it to Hollywood one day. But
it's weird that all actors talk like that.
Oh yeah, I'm an actor. I'm gonna go to Hollywood. I mean, I was fine in New York, but I hated the snow. I think internally, like, I knew that I wanted to move. Like, I didn't want to do another winter in New York, but I just didn't know where. And then an opportunity came up with Actors Connection. And Actors Connection is a resource for actors to connect with different industry professionals.
Okay.
So an opportunity came up, and I had been with them I've been, like, taking their workshops and stuff for about a year or 2 at that time.
In New York?
In New York.
Oh, okay.
And then an opportunity came up to do a LA connection, like a LA meet and greet type of thing. And the guy who was running the show, Christopher at the time, he was like, why don't you just give yourself a chance? Like, give yourself permission. Wait, why are you laughing, Christine?
I don't know. It just seems like it's the way you said it. And like,
I was so serious.
You're like, why don't you just give yourself a chance? It's just like, seems like something that really pierced to your soul.
It did. It did.
Do you feel like you don't give yourself a chance?
I don't.
What do you mean?
Like, I don't allow myself to explore, to make mistakes. Yeah, like, I don't trust myself to do those things. Or, like, I don't know. I don't give myself a chance.
You feel like you need to know that you'll be successful in order for you to venture out into something?
Yeah, I think I have to know that it's going to work. But I had no certainty, like, with this move, you know? So I feel like that's a step.
Yeah. So what made you... And also, is this your problem? What's your problem?
Yeah. This is my problem. I think just trusting myself. Like, I have a problem with trusting myself. Like, trusting that I am fully capable of doing the best that I can do. Does that make sense? Like, I have an issue with maybe just the process too. Like, trusting the process, how things work, accepting that things happen for a reason. You know what I mean? And that they happen, like, it happens the way it's supposed to happen.
When it's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
So what's the hardest part about that for you?
I feel like I have some weird superpower.
And
I
that
feel
you
like
can control
that
things.
I'm the exception to every rule. Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
I feel like... So the last time when we were on the podcast and we talked about, you know, I'm like, oh, man, shoulda, woulda, coulda. I wish I did this. I wish I did that, you know? And then...
Your voices.
Because I got to let the audience feel it, you know?
Yeah.
No, but one of the things that Christine said was, or one of the things that you said was, you know, like, but it didn't happen that way. You know what I mean? Because I was thinking about, well, I could have done this and this could have happened. And it was kind of like, well, but it didn't.
You know things are supposed to happen, how they happen, if they happen.
If they happen.
And that sounds a little confusing, but I kind of got that concept. I've talked about her on this podcast before, a lady named Byron Katie. And she has this process she calls the work. And boiled down to, you know, the fine point of it, I don't know how to say it, is that you don't fight reality. And that's where the pain and the struggle comes in when you try to fight what's actually happening. So you say, oh, it's raining and I'm getting wet and I'm upset. Because you have the expectation that it shouldn't be raining and you shouldn't be wet. Well, yes, it should, because that's what's happening. And then trusting that things are happening how they're supposed to, because they're going to happen regardless.
Yeah. And I think in that, right, example, I would, like, continue to beat myself up. I should have bought that umbrella. I knew I should have brought that umbrella out the house. And if I had brought that umbrella out the house, then I would have been fine. I wouldn't have been wet. You know what I mean? And then sometimes I'm like, well, that was God's will that I should have that umbrella. And then, you know what I mean? And so I just get weird.
It's so funny because when people are like, oh, I don't want to go against God's will, this happened and that happened. I mean, I know a lot of people aren't spiritual or whatever, but it's God. So no matter what happens, it's going to work out how it's supposed to, because that's what happened.
Yeah.
Like if it's God, he has the ability to make
the authority,
make things work out. Like there's a story in the Bible about God telling someone, and I'm gonna ruin it, telling someone to get off go to this certain town and do this thing, and then the guy's like, I'm not doing that.
Oh,
like
Jonah.
Is it Job? Jonah?
No.
Who?
I said Jonah.
Jonah.
I said
the
Jonah.
whale.
Jonah. Yeah.
And then he doesn't. And then he gets swallowed by the whale or something like that.
I feel like that's me.
And but that served a purpose as well as whale. Why are my jokes so bad?
Christine cracks me up, by the way.
If I remembered more about the story, I'd have a better point. I promise.
Oh, that's so
Read
funny.
that story and see how it turned out, because it still turned out for good.
Yeah, he still had to go to that town and tell the people.
But then he went through some other process before that, which ultimately was what he needed.
You gonna make me read that tonight?
Yeah, I want to read it too, solely because...
so you can get it right next time. You tell the story.
Yeah. I just remember a part of it and being like, oh, at the end of it. But I don't remember what it was.
I haven't read my Bible since I've been here.
And do you want to beat yourself up about it?
Okay, no.
Yeah, okay. It's you know what? It's such a habit to beat ourselves up because I don't know about you, but to me sometimes it feels like there's like a nobility in it. Like I'm beating myself up, so I know I'm wrong, so you don't have to beat me up. Like in reality, no one else cares if you didn't do something.
Yeah,
because people are so focused on themselves.
That's so true. Wow, that's another problem of mine.
What's that?
That what you just said. Just beating yourself up. Oh, man, I shoulda.
Yeah.
Or maybe that was, like, connected to the last.
I mean, it's a very common problem, like beating yourself up. And it sucks because it compounds what already happened. Say you missed the bus. I don't know why I'm saying this. You missed the bus, and so you already missed a bus, and that sucks. But then to beat yourself up about missing it is like two problems. And when you're in a state of stress, your brain can't think as clearly to solve the problem.
Yeah.
And so while you're dwelling on it, you're expending that energy on something negative that's not going to serve you versus using that energy to troubleshoot. Or maybe someone drives by who's not a serial killer and is like, oh, I could have given you a ride, but you're like too busy like beating yourself up, like bashing your head in the bus bench. Can you tell I'm tired?
That's good. That's good.
Okay.
No, you're fine.
Oh no, if I would have just got more sleep last night, if I just would have went to bed earlier, things would be different.
It's so silly, right?
I think everyone does it. And if they don't, they probably have a personality disorder.
They're probably weird.
They're probably sociopaths. And there's nothing wrong with that. Not that you would care, because you're a sociopath. I don't think sociopaths listen to this. Who knows?
Never know.
You never know. So tell me about the last time or the biggest time trusting yourself has been an issue. Does it affect you when you do auditions, the choices that you make?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like,
She's laughing because her stomach
my stomach's growling. Yeah. It does happen sometimes. So I'll do that. So I'll go in the room. You know, you always have to just make a choice, right?
Yeah.
So I'll make the choice, and then I'll walk out like, oh man, maybe I should have done it that way. Or there was this one character that I auditioned for, and actually you helped me with it.
Oh.
It was this villain character, and I didn't think I could do it, and Christine helped me, and she's like, you can totally do it.
Your impressions. Wow. You can totally do it. You sure would.
But I remember. And Christine gave me such good notes, and the director even gave me the same note, like the feedback. He was like, okay, and I'll try it this time. And, you know, and I remember the way you told me to do it.
And you got a call back.
And I got a call back.
So I want a percentage.
Oh.
No.
But anyway, on the way home, I was just, like, I couldn't get rid of it. Like, I couldn't get rid of the character. Like, I just kept saying the lines over and over and doing it different ways. And it was so weird. And I was like, well, why didn't I do this on my way here? You know what I mean?
Every actor does that after their audition. So, but when you made the decision initially and when you went into the room initially, did you have a problem making a choice?
No, I think under pressure, I might do better.
Okay.
I think under pressure. I think when I know that I have an audience, or I know, well, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, well, this is it. You know what I mean? Like, this is
So tell me about times where you do feel the strongest in your decisions.
Oh,
there's got to be stuff that you're like, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is what I want to do, this is what I don't want to do.
I think it's been the past few months, I'm learning myself, especially like living on my own. Like, moving out to LA was like a huge deal. Living on my own, understanding, like learning myself. I'm like, okay, I know that I don't like, I don't know, what don't I like? Whatever I don't like. And so I won't buy that. You know, like in the grocery store when I'm in the lot, when I'm going through the grocery aisle.
Was there a time before where you were like, I'm going to buy this? I don't
you know
like
what?
it, but...
Oh, okay.
Or you want to like it, but you just don't?
My mom loves fried chicken. She loves making fried chicken for
Okay.
me.
Okay.
Or she used to, right? Fried chicken, mac and cheese, the whole shebang, right?
Sounds good.
And I grew up and, I just don't like fried chicken as much anymore, So I bake my chicken now.
Seems like you
I
have
don't
a
mean to be so
strong
silly.
stance on that. You know what else you have a really strong stance about that I know because I live with you?
What?
You don't use a microwave and you use the oven to heat up everything.
I do.
And it makes the house smell. And that's
Does it really?
strong choice. Hey, it's a strong choice that you're making. Both aromatically, if that's a word.
Funny. Definitely. I think we're both tired.
Yeah, I think so. But we got up early today. I had a workshop this morning. Charletta likes to post up at the library. I won't tell you which one.
The library is my thing.
We came back. We shot a sketch. And it's been a busy day.
It's been a very busy day. But we can talk about my creative process later, what I do in the library.
I would love to hear about your creative process.
Yeah.
But from this conversation, in terms of making choices.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that I think that sometimes I know when something's wrong, or I know that I shouldn't continue in something, whether it be like a relationship or it's like just a simple decision.
I talked about this a little bit with Minzui before about like, when something's right for you or not.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, and I asked him this as well, but is there anything in you that maybe physically tips you off, or a mental process that you go through where you're like, this isn't right. This isn't working.
I feel like I'm very open.
Mm-hmm.
I'm open to people. I'm open to opportunities. I'm open. But as soon as I feel, I think it's like a physical feeling that I get in my stomach or in my heart is weird.
Yeah.
And it just like a red flag goes up, or like a beep, or like
that would be amazing.
Or something in there where it's like, it's like one of those, like if I had a sound, it'd be like a.
I would love that. Yeah. Like a intuition alarm.
Yeah, but I think that when you,
I think we have to break up.
I think that's a lie. Well, but I think we do it. But I think when you I think when I trust myself more and more, I feel more confident. I feel like oh, okay. You know what I mean? Like I trust myself more. But before I get there, so in the process, right? We're like jumping all over. So it's like a thing that happens inside, right? Where it's just like a type of thing. And I'll either like question it, or I'll stick around to see like if I was right or not. You know what I mean? So yeah. Then there are some times where if I just stay still, and I don't do that often enough, but if I just stay still, I feel like I'll get an answer in a few days.
What do you mean by staying still? Like not making a decision either way, or
like not making a decision, just being quiet and kind of just like listening to my, I guess myself or God inside me. I don't know. Like I just feel like I feel more peaceful, or I feel more at peace when I do listen. It's like to move forward. You know? It happens like if I to go out on a date or to go somewhere, you know what I mean? Even like searching, like looking for houses, like when I moved out here, like I just had to feel like a certain, it just had to search within. I don't know. It sounds so cliche, but.
No, I think it's really interesting, and sometimes it's hard to tune in to what that is. That's something I personally struggle with, where I'm like, do I not want to do this because I don't think it feels right, or because I just don't feel like doing it? Mm-hmm. So that's something I struggle with when you say, oh, should I go out or not? Or should I do this or not? Mm-hmm. So is there anything that you do that deciphers that for you?
Well, I would say, I think for me, it's wondering what other people would think, or like I go through that thing.
What do you mean?
So like when you said like your thing is, do I really want to go, or am I just like, that's your thing? I think my thing with that is more so like just fear of like what will the other person think, or just afraid of like not making the right choice, or I don't know if that makes sense.
Are you saying that instead of wondering if you're making a decision based on the feeling of it versus not feeling like it, you have a feeling of like, am I making this decision because it feels right, or am I doing this for someone else? Mm-hmm. That?
Yeah.
So is there anything that you do that helps you know which way is right? Maybe taking the other person's opinion out of it?
Yeah, that would help. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just feel like out of all the, and I hate to keep making it like God, but God.
Yeah.
But I think that like all like the sin or like the crap or like, I don't know. You know how you're supposed to do the quote unquote like the right things? Out of all the wrong things that I do, I think that there's still a God who's just like, who will still guide you the right way. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Who will still tell you like, no, don't go there. Mm. Or, you know, it's too late, don't go. Or, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard the more that you listen to that inner voice, the easier it is for you to discern.
Yeah. Discernment. That's what it is.
So, is there something that you do that gets you to that place of discernment? Or a regular practice?
I don't know that I regularly practice it like I should, but I think that I just sitting quietly.
Like meditating?
I guess it's called meditating. Where I'm from, we never use the meditation.
Welcome, Millie, baby!
We didn't call it meditation. Yeah, it's just like, because growing up in church, you just say, you sit quietly. You sit quietly. Yeah. Oh, another thing I was going to say is just all the noise, right? Because it's just, I don't know, like our lives are so busy, right? We're always on the go. You're always doing something, trying to stay busy and working toward a goal, right? And then there's just so many, it's just so loud that sometimes, you know, I just don't want to, like in the midst of the noise and stuff, like I don't ever want to be somewhere I'm not supposed to, or, you know, I just want to, I guess that's why I always have to find space to be still. Mm-hmm. I think I'm giving myself, I'm thinking, I don't give myself enough credit, but like in this conversation now, I'm realizing, wow, Charletta, you're a lot more grounded than you think.
Yeah, it sounds like you do trust yourself. But maybe it is more of some of that regret or FOMO after you've made the decision. It seems like you're good at feeling out what the right thing is to do for you, but then after you've made that decision, you're like, oh, was that right? Mm-hmm.
I think I don't reflect enough.
You're not reflecting on what's happening.
Yeah.
Because you trust it when it comes up, but then after it goes, you question it. Mm-hmm. So what can you do to give yourself that reflection time after a decision, say an audition or a relationship or a move or whatever?
I think what's helpful is just recording it. So, side note, guys, Christine does morning pages, and I'm so inspired. I admire you for that. That's one thing she's so consistent on.
Well, it's not always in the morning, I'll tell you that.
Am I right?
I'm not a morning person, but when I wake up, or if I don't, by the end of the night, and I don't have a great memory, so to me, I've been meaning to do this to like look back at a certain period of my life that happened not too long ago and be like, how was I feeling during this time? Like, where was my mind? A lot of the times I'm doing the same stuff over and over again.
So funny.
It can be a little frustrating, but it's interesting.
But I love that you're able to do that. Like, that's something that I would want to do. Like, just because I feel like when you, I don't know, and I feel like seeing things on paper, it sticks with me more, you know? So I think if I reflect it, if I write it down, I think that might help me to be more aware.
So do you want to journal?
Yeah, I'd like to journal.
Okay. What's the the first step you could take towards journaling, like a baby step?
I could maybe commit to 1 page instead of 3 pages.
I love that. And you already have the notebook?
I already have a notebook.
Okay.
It's pretty too.
Yeah.
And it says Faith. And I got it for my birthday by my favorite roommate.
I only have people on the show that have nice things to say about me. Well, the last podcast, I wasn't I didn't have nice things said about me. I'm a little moody.
I know a different side of Christine. No, but you know what? And also, I think I can commit to that. And also, like, I remember, like, as a child, I didn't always trust myself either as a child. And I remember, like, always wondering, like, is this right? Did I get this right? Do you like this? Oh my God, like, growing up, even still.
Did you have someone validating you, or, like, that would tell you if you did something, they'd be like, that was good, or that was bad? Or did you miss that?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that. I don't remember if I got good or bad feedback. I just remember always, like, seeking approval. And I still do that even, like, with my dad, especially. And I don't know why, but, like, my dad, like, always.
I know. I'd look for that in my mom, and part of the reason is that she's one of my primary investors. So I look at it like that. I'm like, if she's putting this money into this business I'm doing, then I want her to be happy with the decisions I'm making with the company.
Yeah.
So that could have something to do with it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, my dad does definitely support me a lot. But he was always present. He was always, like, around. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like, you know, the absence of that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just always just wanted to make him happy, make him happy, make him happy. I think I'm like that in relationships too. Like, I just really want to make the person happy. Or am I doing this right? Am I pleasing? Are you happy? Are you know?
That's tough because when we look on the outside a lot, I mean, first of all, everyone's different. There's always going to be someone who likes what you're doing and hates it. So getting to a place where you're like, do I like this? Is this what I want? Instead of, what do you want? What do you want to do? It's like, well, it doesn't matter. You might want, you might be asking someone what they want, and in the midst of that, realize, oh, I don't want them. You know?
Yeah.
And then you're just wasting all that time on it. And that could be another way of avoiding making decisions as well. If you're always putting it off on someone else.
Yeah.
If you're not, like, taking the responsibility. Which goes back to the whole trust thing. Which you gotta trust that you know how to trust yourself.
Right. And that what you're doing is fine. Yeah, always look to other people to see, like, is this right?
Yeah.
And then I think as an actor, I think I do, you know, like, we do that anyway.
Yeah.
Director, like, you know, like, is that right? Are you happy? Was that okay?
I know that I do that, and I saw it in a workshop today. This guy finished a scene and looked right over to the casting director, like, didn't even take a moment after, you know, to button it, and just looked right over. I was like, oh, wow. And so it's interesting to see it from another point of view. Just that need for approval.
I think it might also be, like, a lack of confidence, too.
Could be, yeah.
Just a bit.
Yeah, lack of confidence, which would come if you're not trusting yourself. So, okay, before we go into the creative process, thank you for sharing
Of course.
your problem of the trust. I definitely relate to that. I think a lot of people do and will, and I'd love to hear if anyone else struggles with trusting themselves, and if there's something that they do or that you do listening that helps you with that. But did you have any takeaways from our conversation?
Yeah, I think just making a decision to trust myself could be a step. I think definitely writing or journaling, to record, like the things that I have done that I am proud of.
And looking back at that evidence.
Looking back at that, right.
And you don't, and when you journal, I know you said, maybe I could start with 1 page. You could start with a sentence, a week, or a month, you know, just to even get the process started. You don't have to have these big, lofty goals.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Christine.
Any other takeaways?
I think I'm in the right direction. I think like the universe, or like when things happen, I think that's a clear indication that you're doing the right thing. I think that could also point toward, like, help you to trust yourself.
What do you mean when things happen?
Moving out here, there are so many things that happened in my favor, or that worked out, where I didn't have to, it didn't take much effort, or didn't, you know? And I was like, wow, I'm glad that I trusted myself to make this move.
Ooh, that is so profound. It's like, I think that's another clue. And when you do your reflection, to say, how easy was this? How in the flow was this?
And then that makes me think, like, even the bigger things that I want in life, it's like, maybe it's not that hard.
It doesn't have to be hard. We don't have to be in pain to get these things.
Yeah.
We could just flow easily. And to believe that, that's the thing. That's tough.
Yeah.
To believe it. But I think looking for the evidence of it, which is another Byron Katie thing, is good to do. So if you have an issue, like, I'm not funny, and then your brain will automatically look for all the evidence to support your belief. But then when you turn that around, I am funny. It's like, oh, well, this person said they liked this thing I did, and I made this person laugh. Like, you can find evidence for anything. So it's like, why do we focus on finding evidence for things that hurt us, that hurt our feelings, and make us less powerful and make us less likely to be of service to the world? Because that shuts us down. But anyway, somebody's hungry.
That's my time of talking.
I don't think it got picked up. All right. Well, when we come back, I'm going to talk to Charletta about her creative process. She's been doing acting. She's writing sketches. She's dancing and singing and improvising. So when we come back, we're going to talk to her on A Little Advice. And we are back several moments later. I am with Charletta Rozzell. Charletta, hi.
Hi. Thank you for being here. I've never been here.
Being so silly. So for this portion of the show, we're going to go into your creative process. And I know that can sound kind of general, but what I like about this is hearing how people's, what's involved in their process in terms of creating content.
Okay.
And I like to go into this because, one, for selfish reasons, because I'm always like, I need to make more content. What could I do? What kind of habits can I pick up to see, to get my creative juices flowing? And it could help someone else, and it makes you think about your process as well. So when you say you sit down and write a sketch, or you are starting to work on a character, either one of those that you want to talk about, or something else completely different, like your hair washing process. That's a whole thing.
Let's save that for the next podcast.
Okay.
My creative process. So I was going to say it's never easy, but there are some things that do come easy. Like, I know that I'm a very physical actor, right? Like, comedic wise, I'm very, like, my physicality, I think, speaks a lot of comedy. So I wrote a sketch with a lot of just physical activity, because I know that those are the things, like, just me being goofy and silly. That's always fun.
So, like, playing to your strengths, like, knowing what you already do well, and starting from that point.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. I always pull from, like, experiences or, like, things that I know. I started a sketch that was very foreign to me, and I got stuck. And to try something different. But actually, so I take classes at UCB, and I'm in their Sketch 101 class, and we were challenged to write a topical sketch. And I don't follow the news or politics or, I know it's so bad, but I don't. It doesn't interest me. But, yeah, we were challenged to write a topical sketch, and I wrote something. I had an idea for something, and I'll just tell it.
Well, yeah. How did you come up with the idea, or where did the idea come to you? What inspired the idea?
So I thought about trending topics, and nothing.
You just thought about them? Did you Google?
No, I had to. Well, I don't have Twitter either, which is probably another bad thing. But I Googled like trending topics, and at that time, I think the Trump inviting the college football team to the White House and him serving hamburgers and, like McDonald's. That was like the thing. It was still trending. So I was like, that's interesting. What if we had the royal family host and adopt that same tradition or that idea and make it a thing and serve like chicken noodle soup with soda on the side, like. So chicken noodle soup, by the way, is a very ratchet dish that we have in Jamaica, Queens. Whoop whoop.
Chicken? How is that ratchet? That's
Chicken
like
noodle
that's
soup.
what everyone eats when they're sick.
No, the chicken noodle soup with just the packet.
What do you mean, just the packet?
The chicken noodle
Are
soup.
you talking about ramen?
I'm talking about ramen.
Well, that's different than chicken noodle
noodle
soup.
Oh, but in the song,
What song?
Lil Mama.
Chicken noodle soup song. Chicken.
No,
I've never heard of a chicken noodle soup.
never heard Lil Mama. Chicken noodle soup. Chicken noodle soup.
No.
Chicken noodle soup with a soda on the side. No wonder it didn't hit in class.
No idea what you're they're like, why?
Like,
yeah, because I'm like, how is that
hip.
weird that they're having chicken noodle soup? But then you're talking about chicken flavored
talking about-
ramen.
Yes,
That's
chicken flavored chicken
completely
flavored
different
ramen. So can you imagine the royal house,
The
royal
flips?
house, the royal family
House.
adopting the White House tradition?
See, that's fun. No, yeah, if they did with ramen, they
Right?
cook, especially if they cook it in the microwave.
And then Meghan Markle's like, oh yeah, pass the hot sauce, because everybody has hot sauce with their ramen chicken.
I don't like hot sauce. Don't even make it a race thing. I hate when people do that.
No, I wasn't gonna say that. I was gonna say you like sriracha. Oh, that's
I
another
don't like
thing.
sriracha.
You
I
don't?
like anything spicy. I don't think food should be painful. I was call me crazy, but I'm trying to enjoy and have a good time. I'm not trying to get
My
hurt.
tongue shouldn't tingle.
It shouldn't hurt. I'm eating. And then I got reflux. I'm not trying to die
That's so funny.
for something that, like, I want it to taste good, not, like, I don't want to have, like, some kind of physical sensation.
I don't want to sweat after I finish eating.
Right?
Yeah, so that was like the hardest thing.
That was the hardest sketch, the subject matter for you to write about as a trending topic.
Yeah. But in terms of like the creative process, I just pulled from what I already knew, what was trending. Yeah. I think also looking at what's popping on Instagram. There's a lot of people that I follow on Instagram, like a lot of creative Instagram influencers that are doing a thing right now. I
like what you said about just taking it and being like, well, how would this be in my life?
Oh, yeah.
And doing it like that.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Something I want to try.
Yeah.
With stand-up and jokes. It's like, oh, they do it like this. Well, this is how I would do it.
Right.
Okay.
Like creating my narrative.
What content has come easiest to you? What can you think of a sketch or a video or anything or a character even that you're like, that was so easy?
Characters, I think, come easier to me because it's part of me. I think I'd pick like bits and pieces of me and then just create, I don't know, and then just go with it, like a small little idea or a small little characteristic about myself, and I just go. I think I'm trying to think of so there's this ratchet character that I have, and I'm not by any means. I'm not ratchet, but I don't know, like the ghetto girl, she just comes like real easy to me. You feel me? Like I can just like go off and like.
Do you ever have it? Let me ask you. This is a serious question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever have any qualms of playing a ghetto character?
Qualms?
Yeah, like issues with it in terms of like reinforcing stereotypes.
I do.
Yeah.
Which isn't that weird though?
It's an issue I have too, because I don't want to perpetuate something that can come off negative or low class about an entire community,
like a population, right?
Yeah.
So here, I think what empowers me, if I might say, is that if that character is put in a context that's just very clever, right? So, or just adding that element to an already developed character, right? So, for example, I have a sketch team in New York they're called Church of Laugh. So we reenact stories in the Bible and we make them contemporary and funny. Gosh. Yeah. So we have a sketch where Joseph in the Bible takes the Virgin Mary on the Maury show to find out if baby Jesus is his baby. And so, so Mary is very smart. She knows her stuff and she's on point. And she has this ghetto streak about her, and so does Joseph. That's just their livelihood.
That's just what it is.
That's just what it is.
Yeah. I also think it's different too, depending on the audience that you're playing it for. Mm-hmm. Like if you're playing to an audience that's familiar with it and is able to say, okay, that's just a subset of people, versus an audience that's like, yeah.
But I think it's just like the witty, like that character just being very witty and very confident and sure about themselves. That's what I like about it when I do play that character. You know what I mean? Yeah. What else did you ask?
I just asked you what character came easiest to you, or what content has flowed the easiest to you.
That flows pretty.
Doing character work in general, and just taking something about yourself and
I
working
think it's
from
fun.
there.
Even when I was a kid, I remember being in the kitchen and like meeting my family in the kitchen and just being silly and just coming into the kitchen as a new person, and my family just cracking up and like their stomach hurt, you know what I mean? And just improvising, like just going off and just create. It was just so hilarious. Fun to me.
So you'd step out and you're like, excuse me, and then you come back in and you're like, hey everybody.
Yeah. You know who I love? Sarah Jones. Sarah Jones is she's from Queens. What? Yeah. She's from Queens, New York, and she does a gazillion different characters, and she also speaks like women's rights, and she's into politics, which is really cool.
Yeah, so you don't need to be.
You're right.
You like someone who is.
Right. But Sarah Jones is amazing, and I researched her. I discovered her on a TED Talk one day.
Oh.
And she's just super dope. And I was like, and that was the first time that I saw somebody that actually made a living out of it. You don't see her on TV shows. She's not, you know what I mean? Like she does one-woman shows, and she's hired by corporations to do these big things, to do these big one-woman shows, and she makes a change. You know what I mean? And she enlightens the people and teaches them.
Her name's Sarah Jones.
Sarah Jones.
I'm gonna have to look her up.
She's friggin' dope.
And put a link to some of her stuff in the podcast notes.
Yeah.
So I also want to ask you, this is a little off topic for content creation, but before any major success that you've had in your life, whether it be career or life in general, but let's face it, career is life, am I right? I'm just kidding. But before any major success that you've had, was there a mindset shift that you had, if any, and what was it?
That's interesting. Before any type of success, was there a mind shift?
Mindset shift.
A mindset shift. Well, I remember, I'm not sure what you mean, but I'll try to answer it. And then you can tell me if that's right. So, I remember So I have a degree in mental health counseling, and I was working at a foster care agency as a case planner. And I remember I was there for about a year. And I always had this dream or this love for and this passion for the creative arts, of acting and dancing, singing, like to go full time in it. But I was always on the fence, right? And there was this fear and trusting myself. And I remember sitting at my desk at the time and like being so overwhelmed and stressed. And I kind of gave myself an ultimatum, or just to look at perspective, like what I was, like my options. And so on one side, I felt like, okay, you could either live this life that you were told you should live, right? And be capped at a certain amount of money and be miserable. Or you could live your best life, struggle a little bit, but ultimately be happy and have no cap on your income. You can make any type of money. Like there's no...
Which one did you choose? I'm just kidding.
This is silly. I think that was a major mindset shift, shifting.
Yeah. So you were just it was just like a stressful day at work, and you just had this like come to God moment where you're like, okay.
I remember also like doing like regional theater, and I did a play in a church, and I had coworkers come from the foster care agency, and my one friend, Ashante, what? She was like, whoop, shout out to Ashante, if you're listening. No, but she came to work the next day, and she was like, why are you here?
Oh.
Yeah.
She's like, I fired you 2 months ago.
She was like, why are you here?
Get out.
Please, today. No, but she was just like, why are you here? Like, what are you doing? And she was just because you can do something well doesn't mean that you're supposed to do it. You
wow.
know what I mean?
You know what? I have the coach I work with, Christine Aller. I've told you about her before. That's something that she has said a lot. It's like, just because you're good at something doesn't mean that you have to put full focus on it. That you have to do it and you have to make a living from it. Doesn't mean that.
Yeah. And she's like, you don't belong here. She was like, I see you on stage, you brighten up. And so many people have said that to me, like, you brighten up when you talk about it. You brighten up, you know? And so I think that's when I had that moment, like, you know what? Maybe not. Like, maybe not continue to do this. I'm not going to do it.
It's so amazing how something someone says to you, she may not even remember saying that, but just one little thing someone can say to you that can just change your entire life and your whole perspective on things.
Christina, I was afraid. I was scared. I was so scared to leave what was familiar to me, what felt like stability, what felt like, you know what I mean? Like the safe thing to do. And remember I talked about like me wanting to please my dad. And so I remember having a talk with him. And I was so shaken up and scared. Him and my stepmom, like they were together. And I remember I met them at the ballpark, and I was like, guys, I really got to talk to you. They thought I was going to tell them I was pregnant or something. Because that's how shaken up I was.
Charletta, you do that a lot. You do a really big dramatic
so
build-up.
dramatic.
Like, I'll give you just a little side note really quick. We, like, one day, she was in the dining room, and she looked down at this envelope, and she goes, oh! And I was like, oh, my God, what's wrong? What's okay? She's like, my first piece of mail. And she meant it, and she does that all the time and scares the crap out of me. No,
that is a big thing. I moved across the country and got my first.
Okay, so they thought you were gonna say that you were pregnant.
Yeah, they didn't know what to. They were like, well, we'll spill the beans. Like, what is it?
They're like, great.
And I was
we're
just
gonna
like,
have to raise this kid.
Yeah. Whatever it is, I still love you. No, but I was like, guys, I put in my 4 weeks notice. At that time, for case planning, you can't, because you're working with foster care, you know, with foster kids and like birth parents and things like that, the courts and all that, you have to stay committed for at least 30 days. So I didn't have the benefit of having 2 weeks.
Okay.
So I had to give in 4 weeks. But anyway, they were like, well, okay, that's it. My stepmother was like, all right. But my dad was like, well, you know, you got your master's, you'll be fine, you know?
Yeah.
And it's so crazy, like, bugging out now. And here's, like, another affirmation, like, the trusting yourself, because moving out here now and, like, my dad seeing how serious I am about pursuing acting, he's, like, my agent.
Aww.
You know? Like, he'll tell people, like, you know, well, my daughter's acting now. She's not enough.
It helps to have people
yeah.
support, you know, just to know that they're rooting for you and...
Yeah, it feels good.
Like, they still love you despite... It's nice to have support. It would suck if they were like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I don't know if I would have... I don't know where I would be or what I'd be doing. I don't know if I'd be the person I am today if I didn't have so much support. I get a lot of support. Like, I have no excuse not to do well.
Okay. Well.
From family and friends. Shout out to my mama. I love you, Ma.
Yeah. Wow. That is amazing. And it also gives me, like, a little trick to use. Anytime I've got some news that someone's not going to really like, but it's not that big of a deal, just to come at them like, listen, we need to talk. Please sit down. And they're like, what? And you're like, I broke your pen. And they're going to be like, oh, God, no big deal. Just be really dramatic.
It up. Yeah, that's all. That's the creative right there. The creative process.
And right your cat's dead. Anyway.
Yeah.
Wow. Anything else? What would you tell people to help them be more creative in their lives? Or to trust themselves?
You gotta trust yourself.
Okay. Well, how do they do that?
Guys, you gotta trust yourself. You gotta
be bad.
You gotta be bold. You gotta be wiser. You should put that as the background music. I love that song, by the way.
I literally heard it on the radio today.
It's Desiree. Her name, the artist name.
I think I heard it on the way to pick you up.
I really.
Yeah.
It was like my
Really?
mantra. Yeah, like I
Really?
walk around and.
Are you kidding?
It's like that song. It's just.
You're lying.
It's the beat of my heart.
Okay, we're getting silly.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, guys. So, for your creative process, just trust yourself, man. Like, you know, one of the things that I realized was, for a long time, I didn't know if I should be an actor or if I should pursue it. And I think I had this epiphany, or I heard a sermon, I don't know, something, where it was just like, why would God give you this talent? Or why would he make you so interested? Why would he give you this huge passion for you not to do it?
I heard that recently. I saw a meme on that, and then I heard it somewhere, and it's like, God's not being mean to you.
Yeah,
he's not going to
he's
put
not
that
gonna
in your
tease
heart.
it. Right.
And be like, too bad you can't do it.
Yeah.
That's so mean.
Dangle it like a carrot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And sometimes with passions too, because just because you like something or you're passionate about something doesn't mean you're going to be successful in that. Like that's the truth. Mm-hmm. It is how it is. But it could also be leading you on a path to something else that's greater than you imagined before. Mm-hmm. So be open to that as well.
Yeah.
And that's hard. If I didn't, to come to terms with like, I have your mind so stuck on this one thing. But it's like, well, where else can you use the talents and the passions that you have? It may not look how you think it's going to look.
Right.
So maybe that was for me. Maybe that was for me. This is one of the silliest episodes I've done.
I'm sorry.
You should be sorry. I want an apology letter, and I'll put it in the show notes. Anything else? What else do you want people to know?
To be still. To be still.
You've heard it here, folks. Be still. I'm being silly, but there really is something to that. Writing it out. Be still. Listen to yourself.
Writing it out. Yeah. Do all those
right.
things, guys. Play this podcast back a few times,
Listen to it. Share it. What do you guys do to be more creative? I'd love to hear from you.
I would love to know,
I'd love to hear that. I am so interested in everyone's creative process. I'd like to hear, too, in my mind, I don't think I've encountered this person yet on the podcast, but in my mind, there's someone that's like, okay, every day at 5 p.m., I light candles. I pour a glass of wine, and I put on Smokey Robinson or whatever it is, and then I just flow and I edit, but no one does that. Everyone's got their own unique thing, and that's helpful to hear too, because the work is still getting done, and we're all different and unique. So, okay, well, where can people find you?
On Instagram.
Okay.
My handle is Loveletta with a U. So LUVLETTA. On Facebook, I'm Lovemletta with a U. LUVEMLETTA. That's about all the social media I have right now.
Okay. And yeah, you guys check out her Instagram. I was in a video that she wrote and directed
Christine.
about Instagram. So please check that out. It's called Insta Combat Pill.
Yeah.
And it's a very relatable subject. Well, guys, this has been such a fantastic episode. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it so much. If you like this podcast, this episode, please share it. It helps people. It helps the podcast. Share it, rate it, leave a review. I want to give a shout out to a couple of reviews that I've gotten recently. I got one from, let's see. Oh, I gotta find it. Are you laughing at me? I'll do this later because it's not coming up. Damn it. I'll edit that. Thank you guys so much for listening to